Hey writers, today is the final day in elaborating on written ideas using prompts, using the story Voices in the Park. So today is day 4. We'll be listening to voice 4 in our book today. So if you remember, we've been working with elaborating on our ideas. So today, one more time, I want to teach you that when writers want to elaborate on their ideas, in this case, ideas about a character, they can use prompts from Ways to Push Our Thinking. The prompts can then help writers to say more, to think more, and then to write more. So again, here are some of the thought prompts that we've been using. I've seen some of our responses go from using 0 thought prompts to using 1 thought prompts, and some people are even trying to use 2 or 3 thought prompts. So here are a few of them today. Here is, let's get our Google form open. I've taken a response from a student from Voice 3, and what I'm going to do is go in and add a few thought prompts to this. So this says about Voice 3, the character was always so bored, then he heard his mom's voice saying, "It's time to go on a walk." And so he went on a walk and heard a voice say, "Do you want to come on the slide?" It was a girl. He said yes anyway, so they went on the slide, the monkey bars, and climbed the trees. He would copy whatever the girl did. Before he knew it, it was time to go, and he was sad because he wanted to stay and play with her. But of course he didn't because his mom caught him playing with a girl. So what I love about this response is that it's a really, really nice summary of what happened in part 3 of our text. What I'm going to do is add some thought prompts to it, because as soon as we add those, we're no longer just summarizing, we're actually more analyzing, and we're adding some inferences to our thought. So I'm going to write, the character in Voices in the Park is constantly lonely and is always bored. So I added this lonely idea because I realized this passage was talking all about how he really just wanted somebody to play with. That's why he was so bored. So not only is he bored, he's also lonely. So that's part of my inference. When his mom said, "It's time to go on a walk," he became excited. Here comes my first thought prompt. This is important because maybe he would be able to find a friend. So check this out so far. The character in Voices in the Park is constantly lonely and is always bored. When his mom said it's time to go for a walk, he became excited. So right here, I just used a detail from the text, his mom's voice saying it's time to go for a walk, but then I added a thought prompt. This is important because, and by finishing that thought prompt, I've moved away from a summary and instead I've made an inference. So I'm elaborating on my ideas. So this is important because maybe he would be able to find a friend. The text didn't say that word for word, but what the text said made me think maybe he would be able to find a friend. Let me continue. When they got to the park, someone asked if he wanted to come on a slide. So now I'm going back to the pieces of a summary. What did the text say, which can lead me to another thought prompt? He was upset because it was a girl, but he played anyways. They went on the slide, the monkey bars, and climbed the trees. They did everything together. When it was time to go, he was sad because he wanted to stay and play with her. I'm going to use one more thought prompt because I've just summarized a new piece. Now I need to elaborate on my thinking. So I'm going to use the prompt, this shows that he really just wants a friend. So notice the length really isn't that much different, but some of the content is different. I used the details from this student playing on the slide, the monkey bars, going for a walk, and having a friend to play with, but I added 2 thought prompts. So the first thought prompt I added was, this is important because. The reason I used this is because it turned my summary into more of an analysis. I summarized a piece, I made an inference. And then I did it again. So I summarized the next few events, but then I moved into an inference using my thought prompt. So I said, this shows that he really just wants a friend. So what we're moving away from is a full-on summary, and we're moving into expanding our ideas and adding our own thoughts to whatever the text says. So you're going to be reading in just a moment the fourth section of Voices in the Park. So we're going to be listening to the fourth and final voice. And as we do that, we're going to be asking, what do we notice about this character? What thought prompts are we going to be able to use to talk about this? So let's take a look at this fourth and final section. Fourth voice. Dad had been really fed up, so I was happy when he said we could take Albert to the park. Albert's always in such a hurry. Albert's always in such a hurry to be let off his leash. He went straight up to this nice dog and sniffed its backside. He always does that. Of course, the other dog didn't mind, but its owner was really angry. The silly twit. I got talking to this boy. I thought he was kind of a wimp at first, but he's okay. We played on the seesaw and he didn't say much, but later on he was more friendly. We both burst out laughing when we saw Albert taking a swim. Then we all played on the bandstand and I felt really, really happy. Charlie picked a flower and gave it to me. Then his mom called him and he had to go. He looked sad. When I got home, I put the flower in some water and made Dad a nice cup of cocoa. So that was our fourth and final voice. We now have the girl that he had been playing with, who's also the daughter of our kind of grumpy gorilla from the beginning here. So what you will be doing is moving to Google Form, and I'm going to go ahead and submit mine. You will be answering the question, what do you notice about the character? So as you're doing this, make sure you are using thought prompts. If you were not using any before, try to use one. If you were using one before, maybe try to use two. So as I come around and I'm seeing us open up our Google Forms, I need to see students listening to Voice 4, writing down what they notice about the character in a Google Form, and I'll be seeing some elaborating using thought prompts. Happy writing!